Here we go again. It's been a while, to say the least. And we are finally back with Homestuck. Now, if I recall correctly, we had finished Act 5, Act 1. It's pretty amazing that an act has its own acts inside it, but nevertheless, we had completed Act 5, Act 1. Good luck describing it. It's to say random would be stating it mildly. There are so many little elements moving around that it's just... But I think one of the more sensible things to do is to just rewatch the last video, because fortunately these things are broken up. And so I think the most sensible thing to do is just watch the last video again, and that's gonna refresh a lot of my memory and anything that I'm not remembering correctly, and then we can just kick it off with Act 5, Act 2. I think that's sort of the best thing to do. You know, like when you're sometimes watching a series and you haven't watched it for a little while and you just watch the previous episode just to help you get up to speed, and then you go on, you know, with the show, watching episodes you haven't watched. So I think that's a pretty good idea. So let's kick that off. And obviously, please, no spoilers. And then kick off Act 5, Act 2. Cool. So this is Act 5, Act 1, Part 15, which is the final one.
Razzie, fly up.
Hey, Terezi! Hey! Hi, Terezi! Hi!
Razzie, respond.
Okay, I got your message. Thanks for not hassling me about it in one of the memos to get my attention. I appreciate that. Unless you did, but it was in a future memo I haven't written yet, in which case, have a big time fuck you about that in advance.
No, I didn't bug you about it in your stupid memos. They are annoying, and I'm tired of getting banned for no reason.
Posting in them at all is the reason. You're not supposed to reply to memos, period. That's the reason.
Maybe I will start my own bulletin board, and everybody will be allowed to reply anytime they want. Except for guys with nubby horns. Oh no, they will not be able to reply at all. Grumpy car cats will be expressly forbidden from Rainbow Rumpus Party Town.
Sounds lame.
By the way, that will be the name of the board in case it wasn't clear.
Yeah, I got that. This is an empty threat, because if you made a board at any point on the timeline, I would be able to see it right here and read the whole thing already. Wait. Oh god, you actually did!
Yes! Future Terezi is looking pretty cool right now.
Look, I don't care about the Fruity Rumpus asshole factory. What's all this about going after the Queen's ring?
Well, the thing that is all about it is, we have to go after the Queen's ring. It is a new mission.
But we're still in the middle of trying to pull off Registerp with Jack. Why don't we take it one mission at a time?
Yeah, about that. The whole point is to destroy the ring so Jack doesn't get it.
Why would we want to do that? Jack's an ally.
Also, the mission sort of involves exiling Jack too.
This is bullshit. We're not exiling Jack. He's cool.
Carcat, he is not that cool.
Yes, he is. He is a total badass with a fuck ton of blades and shit, and he's helping us out.
Okay, I think it's pretty cute that you sort of look up to him like that, but seriously, I do not get a good feeling from him. He kind of...
Stinks? Let me act shocked like I didn't see that coming. Fuck, I forgot my horns. I always forget them.
No, well, sort of. He doesn't smell bad, actually. He smells really clean and shiny and dark, dark, dark. Like an oil slick, and there's a tiny hint of licorice there, too. It's more like the way he moves. I smell his smooth motions and the way he squints his eyes, and it gives me this really nervous feeling.
What a surprise! You're dragging your schizophrenic nose into this. What an outstanding character witness. Objection, your tyranny. The bottom line is I'm not going to exile Jack because you believe you can smell malice off an interpretive dance.
Karkat, he's a jerk. He has stabbed you on more than one occasion.
Some of those stabbings were accidental. Okay, well, I know for a fact the third time was accidental. Anyway, you've beaten the shit out of me a few times yourself.
But I didn't draw blood. I mean, I could have to satisfy my curiosity. But I didn't as a courtesy to you. Since you still want to keep it a secret from me, like a petulant little wriggler.
Hey, I promised I'd tell you. I just wasn't ready, okay?
Well, it's okay. I know what color your blood is anyway.
No, you don't.
Yep, I totally do.
Lies. I've been very careful. Not like all you classless shitbags who slop your blood all over the place every goddamn minute like it's some weird fetish. What?
Lar, hold on.
What is it?
I said hold on. Sometimes it's hard to pick out the letters from the hollow projection. I need to get a closer look.
Are you licking your glasses again? I hate it when you do that. It's fucking disgusting.
No, what would be that idea? That is better. It is much easier to read your color this way. Your drab, dirty pavement gray, on top of bright candy red, like a shiny lollipop. Does that sound familiar, Karkat?
Yes, I'm extremely familiar with this sort of nonsense by now, sure.
No, I mean gray on red. Like the way your skin conceals your blood.
What?
Candy red. Like your planet. You have a strong cherry cough syrup in your veins. It is completely delicious.
Who told you? Did Jack tell you?
No, he doesn't talk much. I figured it out myself.
How?
I got a closer look, remember?
No.
You're playing so dumb. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I cleaned up my wound and changed my shirt before I even met you. I've been extremely careful, so you're going to have to fill me in.
It was when I got close enough to smell it under your skin. Please, Karkat, do not pretend that you forgot about our little moment.
Whoa, you mean during... Fuck. Okay, let's not talk about this. Not here.
This isn't a memo. It's a private correspondence just between us, remember?
I know, but... damn it. Writing all these memos has made me paranoid. It just doesn't feel secure chatting about it over the client. I don't know. We can talk about this in person.
How? In person, do you mean? Uh-oh, look at my eyebrows getting carried away here. Huh? Karkat, help, they are out of control.
Those are eyebrows? I thought they were horns.
They're horns, too. They're whatever I want them to be. Don't change the subject by being cute.
Well, apparently I just can't fucking help myself, can I?
Nope.
How can you even smell so damn well anyway? You give me a hard time about being coy and shit, but when it comes to your crazy senses, you're so vague, it's like trying to decipher the daily horoscope riddle. Or the riddles of all 48 signs combined.
Arrgh, you are a relentless subject changer. Fine. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. God, you're so shy for an angry guy who wants to be a big shot leader. It's ridiculous.
Look, we'll talk. I promise. Why don't you just say some stuff about yourself for a change and cut me some slack?
Okay. I'm sure I mentioned after you met my sprite. I learned from her through my dreams before she hatched.
Yeah, but it's still so vague. That's the whole point. How about a straight answer?
Okay, I'll try. When I went blind, that's when I first woke up. And my Lucis helped me wake up, sort of.
You mean on Prospect's moon?
Yes, but except for a very brief moment, I was blind in my dreams too. The dream self-image I project can't see, so I guess deep down I don't really want to?
Why is that? Is it out of spite to Vriska? I know I'd probably be cool with it out of spite more than anything.
No, not that there wasn't some satisfaction in being okay with it, grateful about it even, and making sure she knew it, but that's not it. The day it happened was the first time I'd ever heard from my Lucis. She woke me up and ever since has been teaching me a different way to see. A different way to perceive everything, I guess. Not just in a sensory way.
Okay, so why did you never tell me any of this?
You wouldn't have gotten it. Even now you still don't really. You have not seen Skya yet.
How am I supposed to wake up?
I don't know. Something different does it for everybody.
How many of us are awake now? How much of the future did you see before we started? In the clouds like Kanaya. Also, how did you go blind anyway? What did she do to you? I don't know why you're so cagey about that. I still don't see how she could blind you without being anywhere near you. Obviously she can't control you, so what gives?
Carcat, shut up. God. How about if I tell you all about that stuff the next time we're in person? In fact, I will tell you when you wake up. Until then, I will keep tabs on your towel while you sleep like a little honey pajamaed pupa nestled in his cocoon.
Wait, let me guess. Do I look adorable?
Actually, you kind of look like a big pile of smelly barf.
Wow, what the fuck?
Of course you do, dumbass.
Oh, then good, I guess.
Okay, I gotta fly. Don't worry about the ring mission. You can stay busy with the register. I will organize the new mission myself. Later!
Wait, Terezi! Please, don't tell them about my blood. I want to tell them. I mean, I will tell them. Later. Once they respect me as a leader.
Okay, I will keep that secret if you keep this one I tell you. Which is that, between you and me, Carcat, I think they already do. Bye!
Bye.
Terezi, ascend.
Get it.
Where'd you go? I was gonna show you my...
My god, I forgot how long these text messages and things were. Jesus. It's all coming back now. The endless text messages, hopping backwards through time, talking with someone going forwards. Why would you do that? But anyway, fine. Why not?
Sure. Are those wings?
Okay.
Is this a handheld?
Make her pay.
Ah, yes. Everyone was reminding me about this one on the Homestuck thread. I wonder if that's the blindness. Bloody clowns. Bloody underwater people. What does that monster have a mustache? Is that a Baron? I mean, she did, like, destroy her body. What did he do? He was just chilling there. Leave him alone, goddammit. This guy's just chilling.
Atta girl.
DD, move this along. Someone needs to grab the reins on timeline management here. These delinquents waste too much time. Can't seem to conduct their business with any efficiency at all. Payback scenarios notwithstanding, there's always time to be made for a good comeuppance.
Skip to the end.
Quit bossing me around. I'm not okay with it. I know what I'm doing.
That's what I like to hear. As you were then.
Aradia, skip to the end.
This private board will and has already served as a log of past events for future selves to record, and a guide of future events for past selves to follow. I don't know which half of its role has been or will be more important. Possibly neither is critical, since deviation from the course is mostly impossible, and reflection on its traversal is completely irrelevant. But I'm typing this anyway, because I'm bored again. And here I was thinking we were finished taking orders from voices. We've only swapped the imperatives of the dead with those of our future selves, who are also dead. Yes, it seems that way. Oh well, it was an enjoyable reprieve from fatalism while it lasted. I nearly managed to savor it. An error narrowly avoided them. I think we should refrain from dialogue in this memo, without resorting to bannings or absurd exchanges of self-repudiation. Yeah, I agree. I just thought I'd interject that and go. Okay. We will and have already amassed an army to confront the Black King. An army consisting of our alternate future selves, each one rerouted from a doomed offshoot of the Alpha timeline, each given another chance at the constructive influence over the ultimate outcome. By the way, if you didn't know already, a future self returning to the past from a doomed timeline will always be slated for imminent destruction herself. It's one of the rules, and the unfortunate reality is, this will and has already been a mass suicide mission, or it would be, and already would have been, if we all weren't already dead. Mobilizing ourselves in such numbers would be required to neutralize the King's psychic attacks. It would take our combined concentration to dampen the abilities he inherited from Glub Glib. Without the cumulative effort of our doomed reserves, without the heightened mental and physical endurance of our robotic vessels, without the untimely demise we all shared before this began, victory will not be possible. He will kill us all with one dreadful sound. I don't know if it was just bad luck, or an extension of the curse Karkat and Sissy brought on us, that led to the incidental and unfortuitous prototyping of the very powerful Lucis, without which the battle would have posed little challenge. I think it was more likely just another inevitability, a product of collusion between the disparate forces at play. A bargain struck between what Skya knows already and what the gods demand up front. Together they orchestrate trials sufficient to ensure that in overcoming them we will be proven worthy of inheriting The ultimate reward. Ribbon? Whoops. And so it would be, and has been already, that while distracted by the combined efforts of a doomed legion, the king would be aggressed by the others. And even though each would be well prepared, perched on the highest rungs of the echelons, equipped with the best weaponry Grist could build, versed in the deadliest frame motifs Boondollars could buy. Even though the meteors from the king's own reckoning would be turned against them, and even with one impossibly lucky roll of the dice at the final moment, we would only narrowly succeed. But ultimately, we would prove our worth, and the reward would be within our reach. But only momentarily. Before we would be able to claim it, we would be interrupted by something, which would be ushered into our session by a rift in paradox space. A rift which we would determine will be opened by 4 members of a fledgling species, who will be playing in another session of the same game that we will and have already played. Their rift will lead to the great undoing, without necessarily causing it, not directly. Such rifts are themselves supposedly benign, useful even. They are cataloged phenomena within the game itself, with the provided means of creating them, in a wide range of scenarios for which it might be prudent to do so. The Ancistosphere locals have a more formal term for them. They typically refer to such a rift as a scratch. The direct effects of a scratch are limited to the session invoking it. We would not experience or observe those effects from our session, but we would experience the consequences, in the form of that which prevented us from claiming our reward, he whose hand will be forced by the scratch to emerge from hiding. But there will be no adequate way to prepare, even with all the foresight at our disposal, for a foe more powerful than the king we will and have already defeated, for a demon who is indestructible, omnipotent, and enraged. While the rest of the party would abscond, our duplicates will buy us time. They would all be killed. Again. All except for me. This is just as well as I suppose. What would we even do with all those copies anyway? We would return to the site of our hatching, so to speak, where we would hide, amidst the veil depleted by the reckoning, and wait, drifting in the wide orbit of our soon-to-be null session. Banished from the universe we left behind.
Meanwhile, Scratch is just chilling somewhere in a house in Homestuck. He'd just be chilling and waiting. It's like, come on, hurry the fuck up. Finish watching this series so I can do something.
And yet, in being denied the ultimate reward, we would be barred from entry. Into the universe we created.
Terezi, fly.
Like how it says you at the end. It's like, that's it. You. It's like, why is there a you? Because there just is. Oh! That's one way to recap the craziness that is this whole bloody series. And in the end, it did not matter because there is someone even bigger. And he be just chilling, waiting. Oh, fun. Wait, what the hell? Intermission. Oh, crap. How does it go from here? Act 5, Act 1. So it should be Act 5, Act 2 now, right? From here, that's how it should go. Act 5, Act 2. And then from Act 5, Act 2, is there an Act 5, Act 3? I don't see one. Man, the way they designed this is bloody confusing. Then what goes after Act 5, Act 2? Is it the Act 6 intermission? Or is it... what the fuck? Act 6, Intermission 3. No, Act 6, Intermission what? Even the intermissions have numbers? Who does this? Act 4 recap. Why is there an Act 4 recap? Then why did I watch this if there's an Act 4 recap? I don't seem to have the Act 4 recap. What the Why would you watch the Act 4 recap after watching Act 5, Act 1? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't the Act 4 recap be before Act 5, Act 1? That doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. Oh yeah, Act 6 is like 1.5 times Act 5, Act 1 to 5 together. Right? Yeah, no. I don't actually have the Act 4 recap. I do not have the Act 4 recap. I don't actually have the Act 4 recap. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Act 4 recap. No, I don't have it. I do not have the Act 4 recap. Homestuck. Act 2. No, that's not it. Act 3 intermission. No, that's not it. Yeah. I have the year 1 recap. And then I have recap 3, recap 2. But I don't know what those are. There are 2 recaps. There are actually 3. There's a year 1 recap, a recap 2, and a recap 3. Yeah, the naming convention of this makes it confusing. Recap 2 is the one you want. Okay, that could have actually been easier than watching this last episode, actually. But, like, it is what it is. Okay, another recap. Well, I mean, it's only going to put me more in the right frame of mind. Year 1 recap happens soon after either Jack ascends or descends, I think. Why would the 1 year recap happen after recap 2? You know what? I'm not going to ask questions. I've learned better than that.
Picking up from where we left off, I typed a really long recap. Then some other stuff happened. Gallows Calibrator helped John fly to the second gate, which took him to Rose's world, Lolar. He crashed into Rose's room where he found her asleep. He snooped through her room and Dave tricked him into giving him the code to duplicate Rose's writing journals. John opened the package Rose made for his birthday. It contained the bunny from Con Air, the same one John got from Dave, but older and dirtier, and modified with Rose's knitting. She'd had the bunny since she was very young.
John leaves Casey the Salamander, aka Bubbles Viceroy von Salamancer, in the room. He briefly speaks with GA, Grim Auxiliatrix, from Rose's computer, and pretends to be Rose. She believes he is, triggering a convoluted series of conversations between her and the real Rose in both the past and future, in no particular order. GA gets help with her computer from TA, Twin Armageddons, in time to see Rose at her computer, having woken up.
Before she woke up, Dream Rose was awake on Dursa's moon. She now had memories from her future self's doomed alternate reality. She flew to Dream Dave's tower and got his attention with a ball of yarn, causing real Dave to fall asleep. They had a dream dance party. Dream Rose threw Dream Cal out the window. Bro's rocket board caught Dream Cal. AR followed the board and Cal to a transportalizer on Durse, which led to a meteor lab in the Veil.
Meanwhile on Lolar, Rose's mom defeated a huge monster. The pony Maplehoof followed her and collected the Grist Windfall. Both Mom and the pony then transported to the Meteor Lab. John's dad found a clean hat John had deposited into a parcel Pixis. Dad followed Jade's grandpa, who was carrying John's Sassacre book, into some ruins. They both transported to the Meteor Lab too. Meanwhile, John used the grist collected by the pony to make a normal-sized version of the giant hammer Fear No Anvil, which Dave's sprite gave him the code for. Dream Rose saw John on Dream Dave's computer and woke up. She went out to see him, but he had already blasted off. He took the mutant kitten, Vodka Mutini, Dr. Meowgan Spengler, with him.
John found the ruins that Mom and the pony went into. He went in and killed some powerful monsters with his new hammer. He transported to the Meteor Lab as well.
In the lab, he found no one except the pony. Some other stray items were on the floor. Dad's dirty hat, the Sassacre book, Dream Cal. He found some apparatus used to genetically engineer foot soldiers and agents for the White and Black armies from chest piece DNA. He also found a junior ectobiologist's lab suit and a series of terminals much like those the Exiles would find in the far future. He would use this apparatus to create paradox clones of himself, his friends, and their guardians.
Meanwhile, Authority Regulator served Bro's rocket board to a different meteor containing the frog temple that would later root itself near Jade's Island. Inside, he found the same time capsule she would find later. He also found some more lab equipment used for ectobiology. This equipment would soon be used to create Beckworld, a mutated combination of the gene from an ordinary dog in the early 20th century and the DNA code in one of Rose's journals. Authority Regulator hides in the lab when he hears one of Jack's henchmen, the Draconian dignitary. DD is carrying Rose's duplicated journals, which he stole from Dave, and Dave's beta, which was used as a bookmark. He discards the beta into the time capsule. Millions of years later, from the capsule's perspective, Jade would retrieve that beta and use it to connect with Dave, allowing him to enter the medium.
Dave created the journal duplicates after an extensive alchemy binge.
I love how it's just millions of time, just casually, here and there. Why not?
Rose too had a similar alchemy session, and both kids upgraded their weapons and gear. Rose made a pair of needle wands crossed with her grimoire, and took up the art of dark magic. She used this magic to burn her journal, thus destroying the genetic code. She was advised to do so by the gods of the furthest ring, whom she was now able to communicate with in her dreams. The gods live far beyond the Veil, and advise the children of the moon of Durst, and serve as the counterpoint to the role Skya plays for the children of Prospet's moon.
Take that out of context. Oh, fuck.
They deemed the code which would inevitably be used to create Beckworld to be dangerous.
Dave decided to destroy his copy too, but when he went back to his room, he discovered they were stolen. He also found his own dead body, which apparently was him from the very near future, attempting to go back in time and stop the thief, DD. Dave decided not to attempt any more time travel and disposed of the body. GC discussed the matter with him and pledged to help him by telling him his future along the way so that he would not have to face the death of any more future selves or suffer the sort of embarrassment he went through while entering the medium.
Previously unseen, the way Dave...
I love how it just, goes back in time, finds his body that he's already dead, and is like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do that anymore. It doesn't work out well.
Dave entered the medium was as follows. As the large meteor was bearing down on his city, Dave climbed the radio tower on top of his building with his broken sword in hand to reach the nest built by the crow sprite. The sprite guarded the egg, which, unknown to Dave, simply needed time to hatch before he could enter. The sprite pecked his head, and he fell. He was saved by Bro's rocket board. Meanwhile, Bro was on top of the meteor, riding it as it descended. He used his sword to chop it in half, splitting it into two pieces, diverting the initial impact from their building to two separate impact sites. He thus bought a little more time for the egg to hatch, which it did just before their location was consumed by the blasts.
Okay.
On Prospet's moon, PM prepared to depart for the battlefield at the center of Skya to seek the King's counsel on what to do with the Queen's ring. She was tailed by another of Noir's lackeys, the Courtyard Droll. Courtyard Droll picked her pocket and stole the ring. PM departed via shuttle to Skya. Dream Jade then clobbered Courtyard Droll and recovered the ring. She tried it on, but its powers had no effect on humans. Later, Courtyard Droll would travel to the battlefield and continue trailing PM.
The battlefield is a planet at the center of Skya. It undergoes a transformation with each player that enters the medium and each new prototyped kernel introduced. It starts as a simple 3x3 chessboard with two kings in perpetual stalemate, and expands to a larger board and more exotic collection of pieces with the first player entering. Then it becomes a much larger cube with the second player, and then an even larger sphere with oceans, trees, mountains and pastures with the third. It presumably will transform again with the fourth.
The armies of the Black and White Kingdoms duel there. Soldiers are airlifted from meteor facilities in the Veil to supply the manpower. Enormous mutant chest-like monsters stalk the landscape. The two kings command their armies from the field. They each have a scepter that serves a similar purpose to the Queen's rings. When activated, a scepter causes a king to be a giant and bear the properties of all the prototypings. A king is able to deactivate a scepter to hand it off to another so that they will not be affected in that way. When the Black King captures the White King's scepter, the reckoning begins. The reckoning sends all the meteors in the Veil towards Skya in stages. First, the small ones, then gradually, the bigger ones, over a 24-hour period.
There was a war-weary villain on the battlefield who was a simple farmer and was tired of the conflict. WV united a band of soldiers from both armies to lead a rebellion against the Black King. Before they could attack the king, Jack Noir, now empowered by the Black Queen's ring, intercepted the coup. He destroyed the king's scepter and killed the king. Jack then killed the entire rebellion army, sparing only WV. Perhaps to leave a survivor to tell the story, or perhaps out of respect for a fellow mutineer. Only he knows. Meanwhile, PM met with the White King. He disabled his scepter and gave it to her, along with his crown. PM now had the crowns of the White King and Queen, and the White Scepter, but discovered she had misplaced the White Queen's ring. Jack's muscle, the hegemonic brute, had been tailing the White King. HB then followed PM and attacked her. She dropped the scepter off a cliff. She would regroup and chop off HB's head with the Regisword Jack gave her to kill the White Monarchs. CD, who had been tailing both of them, recovered the White Scepter and delivered it to Jack. Jack used it to initiate the Reckoning, and would proceed to go on a more extensive rampage, devastating the battlefield and Prospect.
Damn!
Back in the Meteor Lab, John began the ectobiology session, which appeared to have been prepared for him in advance by the Guardians who had just been there. The 4 monitors were all locked onto the kids' Guardians at certain points in time, each on the day of one of the kids' birth. On Jade's birthday, Nana was locked onto in John's neighborhood by the Betty Crocker factory. The meteor carrying baby Jade crashed into the factory and destroyed it. Her grandpa, the owner of that factory, would adopt her. John's dad witnessed and would spend years investigating. On Dave's birthday, Grandpa was locked onto while he was on his yacht, pioneering the island for the first time. He was sailing with baby Jade. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Dave, which would crash into Bro's favorite record shop. On Rose's birthday, Bro was locked onto as he stood over the crater where he would find baby Dave. He would give him a tiny pair of pointy shades. Overhead, there was a meteor carrying baby Rose, which would land in a lake and destroy it. Rose's mom would retrieve and adopt her. Months later, on John's birthday, Mom would bring Rose to John's neighborhood to investigate the destruction of Grandpa's factory and related stellar phenomena. The target was locked onto her. Dad came out of the family joke shop to greet her, leaving Nana inside. The meteor-carrying baby John destroyed the shop, killing Nana. Dad would adopt John, and Rose's mom disappeared.
Imagine that, finding out that you killed your own grandmother, who just so happened to be a sprite that helped you early on. It's like, what?
Dad retrieved her scarf and filed the clue away for his ongoing investigation.
John attempted unwittingly to appearify all 4 Guardians, but since removing them from those moments would have caused a paradox, he instead paradoxified their ghost slime imprints. This slime was collected into 2 pairs of containers. One pair collected Nana and Grandpa's slime, the other pair collected Mom and Bro's. The device then created baby paradox clones of the 4 Guardians. These babies would then later be sent back in time to become those Guardians themselves.
Once those 4 clones were created, another sequence activated.
Congratulations, you found out something about the timelines, but you can't deviate from it, otherwise you will cause a time paradox, meaning you don't exist and you somehow become your own grandfather. So you better cause the time paradox by doing all this time fuckery. Good luck! It's like, what?
2 pairs of slime tubes emptied into vats below. The Nana Grandpa slime mixed together, and separately, the Mom Bro slime mixed together as well. An additional 4 paradox clones were created from those 2 slime concoctions. Baby John and Jade were created from the Nana Grandpa slime. Baby Rose and Dave were created from the Mom Bro slime. These 4 babies would also go back in time to become the 4 kids via meteors in the sequence and on the dates listed above.
All 8 babies would each ride their own meteors, launched from the Veil after Jack started the Reckoning, and into the defense portals deployed by Skya to protect itself. The defense portals would each lead to Earth as Skya defends itself, in a way, by sacrificing Earth. While most meteors are sent to the time period when the kids began the game, many led to a number of different time periods. Some 13 years prior to the game, used by the kids, some nearly a century prior, used by Nana and Grandpa.
And one a few 100 million years ago that fucked over the dinosaurs playing session.
Some millions of years ago, used eventually by the Frog Temple meteor, and some to the far future, used by the Exiles.
All 8 of them would travel with an object or animal. John with his Sassacre book, which would become the much older-looking family heirloom stored in Dad's safe, with Nana Sprite's inscription to John on it. Rose with the dirty bunny Dave gave John for his birthday. Dave with the pony Maplehoof. Jade with the knit-repaired bunny Rose got John for his birthday, which Rose cherished since birth. Nana with Dad's dirty hat. Mom with Mutini, also known as Mugon. Grandpa with 2 flintlock pistols, which older Grandpa left behind for him in the lab, which would eventually both wind up in Jade's room. And Bro with Dream Cal, which would later be fitted with a new personalized shirt and would become Real Cal, the same doll that would haunt Dave's waking life and consequently his dreams.
So like, Cal has transcended time itself. This motherfucker's just been looping. Because the only reason Dream Cal is here is because Cal fell asleep, and so Dream Cal goes back with Dave to just start this. I mean, if I was stuck in this loop, I'd be pissed off too.
All of these babies and their items would automatically be transported to their own meteors at the onset of the reckoning. John made absolutely sure to give Baby Rose and Jade their bunnies when he saw an opportunity to reenact a scene from one of his favorite movies, much to the dismay of a watching carcinogeneticist.
While AR was in the Frog Temple lab, he would see more of young Nana and Grandpa's story. On April 13th, 1910, exactly 99 years prior to John's birth, baby Nana's meteor destroyed a bakery owned by Betty Crocker. Nana was adopted by Crocker's husband, Colonel Sassacre, and taken to live in his mansion. 8 days later, Grandpa's meteor destroyed the doghouse belonging to Sassacre's dog, Haley. Haley was elsewhere and was unharmed.
Thank God.
When Sassacre and Nana went to investigate the crater, Sassacre was shot and killed accidentally with one of Grandpa's pistols. Haley then showed up, who young Grandpa would tend to pronounce Harley due to his speech impediment.
You killed your own great-grandfather! Fuck! So you killed your own grandmother and you killed your own great-grandfather. You're a fucking cunt.
And would largely serve as their guardian for the next 13 years, with presumably some parental influence from the wicked Crocker. On his 13th birthday, Grandpa would run off with Harley to find adventure. Nana would stay behind to contend with the Batter Witch and master the art of baking, as well as take up her deceased grandfather's tradition of pranksterism.
And making friendship brownies. Lots and lots of friendship brownies.
Harley was locked onto by the Frog Temple's equipment. Draconian Dignitary activated the device and produced a paradox clone of Harley combined with the controversial Meow code to create Puppy Beck. The spectacle terrified AR, leaving a major impression on him. He would recognize Beck's silhouette carved on Wayward Vagabond's pumpkin years later. The pumpkin commanded his fear and caused him to surrender.
Meanwhile, the grown-up versions of Mom and Dad were on board a flying battleship belonging to Grandpa, who piloted it towards Skya.
Naturally!
Dad gave Mom her long-discarded scarf from the day he lost his mother and found his son. The two guardians traded gestures of affection.
Jade
Holding hands. What is this, the 1910s?
remained asleep through it all, trying to stay on the moon as long as she could until she figured out how to wake John up. She talked about this with A.T., Adios Toreador, who revealed he preferred his dream life on Prospect more than any aspect of the game, and regretted all the Troll's dream selves were now dead. Jade expressed surprise at the notion of dream self mortality.
After Jack used the full power of the ring to devastate the battlefield and the two armies, he turned his attention on Prospect, inflicting severe damage the same way. He then cut the chain connecting the moon to Prospect, sending the moon plummeting through the atmosphere of Skya, and breaking up in the process.
Naturally!
Dream John, still asleep, fell out of his tower and jerked it down ahead of the falling moon. Dream Jade flew to intercept him and spent a moment attempting to wake him up before the moon's collision was imminent. At the last minute, she flung Dream John out of the blast radius, but was not able to clear the blast herself. She died.
What happened to the ring?
The death of Dream Jade caused her dream bot to malfunction and explode, destroying her room.
What happened to the ring?
Still asleep, Jade fell from her tower as Beck watched from a distance, and an enormous meteor loomed overhead.
Elsewhere on Dave's world, the land of heat and clockwork, Bro dueled with Jack briefly. It was a stalemate until Bro plunged his sword into the large floating record platform they were fighting on. This released a mysterious energy from the cracks. Bro escaped.
And lost his sword. Damn it! Oh my god, GameFAQs, it's been so long.
Rose completed her final GameFAQs walkthrough entry and used magic to seal it in a server in the furthest ring, to be accessed by players in worlds beyond their own. She had destroyed her first gate on a whim and resolved to search for answers to remedy the hopelessness of their doomed session. Meanwhile, Dave entered his first gate, riding into it with his awesome skateboard, Unreal Air.
That is like such a Devil May Cry thing to do.
4 exiles arrived on Earth years after its apocalypse, but years before they found their respective command stations. Wayward Vagabond wrapped himself in John's dream blanket, which became dirty and unrecognizable over time. He found it along with a Jack-like doll on the battlefield, which formerly sat in Dream John's bedroom, haunting his dreams. War-weary Villain ripped it apart. Peregrine Mendicant wrapped herself in a Prospect banner, which too faded in time. Aimless Renegade wrapped himself in caution tape using his own supply, as well as some fresh rolls he was lucky enough to discover near the ruined Frog Temple in one of Grandpa's old crates. This was after he escaped that same temple in the Medium and found the meteor lab in which John slept. That meteor then took off for Skaya via the Reckoning. Authority Regulator taped John to the rocket board and cast him off before the meteor went through a portal. Thus, Aimless Renegade became exiled. The White Queen exiled herself with an entourage on a royal cruiser and landed on Earth. She departed on a solo quest, leaving her people to their own devices. She discovered her command station, a large egg, broken in 2 pieces in the large craters made by Dave's split meteor. She used the key to repair the egg station and teleported to the present location of the exiles, the Frog Ruins at night, 413 years after the apocalypse of Earth.
On the battlefield,
well, when they say it like that, it makes perfect sense. Jesus Christ. I mean, without the fucking recap, it's like, fuck's going on?
Dream John found Dream Jade's body. He was sad and confused and took her ring as a keepsake.
I mean, I'm also sad and confused at times. Hey, look, it's a floating battleship over a lake of lava. That makes perfect sense. How much drugs have we been taking?
Later, Grandpa would land his ship on the battlefield, find and recover her body, and use it to create a stuffed trophy as a memorial, as per the proud family tradition.
You literally stuffed your granddaughter's body as per tradition. So you basically cut her open and removed her organs. Jesus Christ.
He would depart in his ship and leave Mom and Dad behind.
Wouldn't Mom and Dad die?
John saw a vision in a cloud directing him where to go. It was a castle where he would rendezvous with PM. PM, after beheading HB, used his radio to summon Jack. He came, and she traded the 2 white crowns for the green box, Jade's present to John. He appeared pleased to uphold the bargain, either out of the misunderstanding that he was still under control of its contents, or out of respect for PM's tenacity and brutality in pursuing the prize. Only he knows.
PM delivered the package to John and then left, not thrilled by the trials caused by its recovery. John opened it to find letters from Jade and her pen pal, who helped her make the present for him over several years. The gift was the pen pal's idea, and he himself was coerced into the plan by someone else. The box contained a modified version of the stuffed bunny John had received for his birthday twice already. It was the same knit-repaired bunny John sent back in time with baby Jade, and she presumably kept it as a cherished childhood toy ever since. It was now upgraded with mechanical parts, fully mobile and autonomous. It was also included with 4 powerful weapons: the Royal Derringer, broken sword, the Quills of Echidna, wands, Ahab's crosshairs, rifle, and the Warhammer of Zillihu, hammer. Each was shrunken down to be bunny-sized.
Bruh.
As John mourned Jade's death over her letter, he was interrupted by Jack's sword. Jack was after the ring, but the heavily armed mechanical bunny intervened, recognizing John as its new master. Jack, knowing the danger of the toy, was forced to retreat.
Finally, a cloud showed John what he was supposed to do with the ring. It was held by a mysterious black hand. In the far future on Earth, the exiles gathered around Exile Town. WQ asked WV for something. WV revealed he had been storing the complete quad-prototyped ring in the sleeve of his trusty knife. It had been there all along, much to Serenity's surprise.
And then I started working on Act 5.
What? What? Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun sized, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.